Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream and your daily Chelsea news update. And boy, have we got some updates today. Chelsea have made an inquiry to Newcastle United for Alexander Isak. Yes, you're hearing that right. Chelsea have inquired about Alexander Isak. The Blues have been quoted a price, well, not been quoted a price, but they'd have to break the British transfer record that they set for Moises Caicedo last summer in order to get him. It's come as a bit of a surprise that we've inquired, considering the names that we've been linked with. To suddenly just drop that in there seems a little bit odd in my mind. We're going to dive into that. So Chelsea have inquired about Alexander Isak. Marc Guiu has pretty much all but completed his move to Chelsea. Chelsea have signified their intent to activate the release clause. There's an agreement in place over a contract until 2030, so he'll be on his way to Chelsea, as we've been discussing already this week. Apparently, according to The Athletic, there's not a strict wage policy in place at Chelsea, and cases will be judged on an individual basis, according to them. Chelsea is still weighing up a move for Jonathan David, and AC Milan have made contact with Chelsea over a move for Romelu Lukaku. And considering his ties with Inter, it would be the ultimate Judas thing for Lukaku to do. But considering his track record, it can't fully be ruled out, can it? But anyway, let's dive into proceedings, guys. 50 in the building already. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let's say hello to a few people in the chat, and then we will dive into proceedings, guys. I don't see Chelsea spending 200 million. Well, absolutely not. Gallagher value will drop after the poor performance. No, it was not going to drop after one poor performance. Isak would be a class signing. Absolutely would be. Look, people always talk about this, players and cash, but the reality is it very, very rarely happens, and there's reasons for that. Isak is the striker I've wanted the whole time. 100 million would get 100 million, brother. 100 million would not get him. I think he was on a new deal at Newcastle. Yet again, this could be a ploy from, this could be Isak trying to get a new contract as well. That they're reportedly close to an agreement on a new deal. So I'm not really sure why this information has come out now. Maybe Chelsea have put it out, or has it come out from Newcastle sources? I'm not entirely sure. Some Chelsea up at the moment, sign a non-named teenager, PR about interest in a world-class player. It would appear so. Would they be having conversations if they didn't? Yeah, look, who said they've had conversations though? But I think it's just an inquiry. I think inquiries are made about players an awful lot of the time. Doesn't mean the deal's gonna happen. You sort of just sound out whether it's possible or not. Yeah, we can dream. We can dream. No, I think it would be very unlikely, but this is Chelsea, and in a weird sort of way, guys, it's one that, as much as it's unlikely, it can't fully be ruled out. I would honestly love Isak to sign for Chelsea, but there is in no world in which this transfer happens. Yeah, do you know what it is though? Like, as I was saying maybe the other week, that Chelsea don't, whilst there may be some sort of kind of wage policy in place loosely, there doesn't really seem to be a transfer fees policy in place. Obviously, that we're not talking about spending 200 million quid or whatever, but there doesn't seem to be a transfer, like a limit on transfer fees. What else? What else is coming in? Guys, loads coming in. I'll try and get through as much as I can. Respectfully, I always love to hear opinion on the Chelsea news. Big up, brother. But again, conversations is such a loose term. That could literally be like conversations about, well, what price would it take? All that could be ranging from literally just asking if there's any chance of him being sold this summer. It's such a broad term conversations. What are they planning? What if they are planning to convert Jackson to left wing and play Isak as the main striker? I wouldn't have thought that would happen, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, let's dive into the main news then, people. Keep smashing that like button, by the way, guys. 73 in the building already, which is great to see. Where are we? Let me just bring it up now. So this is the news that broke sort of just before midday today, UK time. exclusive. Chelsea make inquiry for Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Now, let's dive into the here's an exclusive from the Daily Mail. Chelsea have made an inquiry for Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Mail Sport understands conversations have taken place between the clubs and the Blues have indicated a want to sign the Sweden international. They know that any deal would take a club record fee beyond the £115 million they paid for Moises Caicedo. Isak scored 25 goals last season, is one of the hottest properties in Europe. His market value is at least double the 63 million Newcastle paid Sociedad 2 years ago. He scored 35 goals in 2 seasons. What else is it saying? Eddie Howe wants to keep the likes of Isak and Guimaraes, even though he's previously admitted on the record that every player has their price. Whilst there has been talk of Isak agreeing a new contract in Newcastle, we understand nothing yet has been signed. Chelsea made inquiries for a number of forwards this summer as they search for the goal scorer to take them to the next level. So yeah, conversations have taken place reportedly. But as I was saying, conversations is a loose term. Of course, Chelsea would love to sign Isak. Of course they would. But we've got to be realistic here. The finances involved are going to be ridiculous. And are we really in a place where we are going to be breaking the transfer record yet again for the 3rd time in 4 windows? I would love this to be true. And look, the reality is that Isak probably is worth more than £100 million in terms of the way that the market's going. He signed for 63 million 2 seasons ago. His performances have been very good. His value for sure has probably doubled, or has got very close to doubling. So he probably is a British record transfer in this market in this day and age. So I don't think the valuation of asking for more than 115 million pounds is necessarily ridiculous. Which might sound crazy, but that's the way the market is right now. And I think that probably is market value, and that probably is a fair valuation. If we're being honest here, I think that is a fair valuation. What doesn't quite make sense to me on this front is that Chelsea seem to be, not really sure of what they're doing here, because we essentially, got we've sort of cast a wide net over several targets. You look how different these guys are. Isak, Jonathan David, John Duran, Giui, Omorodion, all in one window. That's kind of a bit weird, because they're all different ages, they're all different profiles, they're all different experience levels, and they're all different prices. It strikes me as Chelsea being a little bit improved. I mean, look, for what it's worth, guys, as much as I'd love this to happen, I cannot see Isak happening. And do you know what? It could be one of those where they try and, get fans to think, well, do you know what? We tried to sort of sign someone, really world class, or someone with world class potential. We tried to do that, but now what we're going to do is go back to what we really want to do, and that's sign a load of teenagers. There's a lot of chat about how the strategy is supposedly going to change, but the actions are not backing that. The actions aren't backing that at all. In terms of that, the actions really aren't backing it up. Now, whilst we might have made an inquiry, how serious was that inquiry? Was it a smokescreen to kind of just say that we tried to get someone decent and we couldn't manage it? So we are serious, but we're going to go back now to what we were doing. And again, this inquiry is true. Then this inquiry is true. I don't think it can be denied as being true necessarily, because there's more here. Chelsea have made an inquiry, Newcastle, for Isak. Newcastle want more than £115 million and doubt Chelsea can afford to do so. Well, I mean, it would be very interesting, wouldn't it? Whether we do think we can, get the money together to afford someone like an Isak. I wonder have we got it in us to do a third £100 million signing in 4 windows. I I don't know is the honest answer to that. But to be honest, if it meant we had to sell Gallagher and Chalobah, I know this is not how football works, but in a hypothetical situation, if we had to sell Gallagher and Chalobah in order to get Isak, then I would be all over that. I mean, 120 million pounds. I don't want to sound sort of blasé and just like, because this is ridiculous amounts of money we're talking about here. But this guy, I feel would be worth it. He would take Chelsea to the next level. There's no doubt about it. He is one of the best strikers in the Premier League. In terms of an all-round striker, I think he's better than Haaland. Not in terms of being a goal scorer, but in terms of his all-round play and what else he can bring to the team other than just goals. I think he's a more complete striker than Erling Haaland. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, I'm a massive fan of him. And these are the sort of signings we should be going for. These are the sort of players we should be targeting. And now, look, whether this is just like a bit of a PR, a bit of a smoke screen to say that we tried, I don't know. But this is the level of player and this is the level of signing that we should be looking at making. It's as simple as that. How many strikers are we going to be linked with? As for me, I'm tired. Yeah, look, we're going to be linked with a lot of strikers. You know, we're going to be linked with a lot of strikers. There's no denying that whatsoever. There's absolutely, of course we are. You know, that when you know people know that Chelsea are looking for a striker, you know, everyone's going to be linked. There's more than one club who made inquiries for Isak. It's just Chelsea have made a noise about it. I don't know. Again, there's probably people worried, like Arsenal fans, who seem to be very insecure that, you know, we still have a bigger pool than them, despite them, you know, having a better moment than us right now. I'm not saying Isak's going to come to Chelsea. I'm not saying that at all. But you know, if we want to try and press ahead with it, then it is doable, potentially. I think Maresca wants to keep Gallagher. Let's wait and see. Is Chilwell safe from being sold? I think that everyone's got their price at the end of the day, but I would be very surprised if Chilwell were to leave the club this summer. Sell Gallagher, Chalobah, Bro would go a long way for us to get Isak. Maybe. I don't want another big striker at Chelsea. Well, look, at the end of the day, you know, everyone's screaming out for a world class centre forward to come to Chelsea. So yeah, and then when we sort of potentially inquire about one, then people are not happy about it, or they're not having it. Isak is 24. The signing is not that crazy when you consider PSR, the saleable assets Chelsea have, and the need for a striker. Look, let's just think about this, right? If we paid £120 million for Isak, right, we can easily make £120 million back in player sales this summer. We've already got £37.5 million for Martin. We're hoping to get the £38 million exit clause for Lukaku. That's already over £70 million. You chuck Broja in, that takes you close to 100 mil. Then you've got maybe a Chalobah or Gallagher. That takes you over that figure. Not to mention we might sell a Casadei or a Datro Fofana. You know, we've got assets that we can sell that would easily raise that money for the transfer fee. You know, that much is absolutely clear. Guys, 133 in the building. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Only 39 likes though. Guys, let's get this up to 100 likes as quickly as possible. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and keep subscribing to the channel if you're new around here as well. But the likes are really important, guys. It helps boost the really helps boost the content in the YouTube algorithm. So please do that, guys. So yeah, run these likes up. Right, there's so much stuff coming in, guys. If you want to guarantee your comment gets read out, please do use the super chat function. If not, I'll just get through as much as I can. He's not coming to Chelsea. Wise up. These owners are never going to do it. I wouldn't say they would never do it because we've seen they're prepared to spend big money. You know, we've seen they spent over 100 mil on Fernandes. We've seen they spent over 100 mil on Moises Caicedo. Look, whilst I'm fully expecting it not to happen, I don't think we can say that these owners are never going to do it, because they've shown that they're prepared to spend big money on players. But yeah, Charlie, I don't see Gallagher going. Same with Chalobah. Let's see on that front. Let's see on that front. But yeah, let's see if this article adds anything further to what has already been reported earlier on. Let's see if there's anything in that. Oh yeah, of course, we've got the money from Lewis Hall as well. That's another 28 million there. I don't think Isak's salary would be ridiculous. I think it would fall in line. I don't imagine that he's on a massive wage. I wouldn't have thought, but you just never know. But yeah, I forgot about the money from Lewis Hall. I think Maresca, we got it. But yeah, let's see what this is saying. If there's anything further that has been added. Newcastle will do everything in their power to keep Alexander Isak on Tyneside, and they let Chelsea and Arsenal know that it would take an astronomical offer to alter that stance. Chelsea made an initial inquiry for the Sweden striker, but given that club's problems with meeting profit and sustainability rules, there's considerable doubt at St James's Park that they would be capable of paying a sum possibly well in excess of £100 million. Despite making it clear that Chelsea would need to break the record they invested in Moises Caicedo, Newcastle have no real desire to sell a striker their manager envisages building the team around. Arsenal got long-standing interest in Isak, but they have yet to make formal contact after apparently being deterred by his price. Newcastle hope to extend the player's contract and remain confident the forward is happy and settled at the club. His contract runs out in 2028, and he scored 35 goals in 67 appearances since joining for 65 mil 2 years ago. So, yeah, there's nothing really more to add there. Newcastle are kind of just basically banking on Chelsea not being able to cough the money up at the end of the day. Isak's salary is currently 120k a week. Yeah, look, if he joined Chelsea, I think he probably at least expects 200k. He might expect a bit more. There's a chance that could happen. Isak for 80 mil max, I don't think he's worth a 115. I think that figure has been set due to Caicedo purchase. Maybe it has, but I would look at it from a Newcastle perspective. I think, well, we signed him for £63 million 2 years ago. His performances have improved massively over the last 2 years. His value is, he's probably added at least £40 million of value onto himself. So he probably is worth over £100 million. That's the reality of it. We should just get Alvarez for 80 mil. Well, I mean, I think it's as simple as that. My caution with all this apparent public links to players is they don't see themselves as being a priority target, and another club another club does. Yeah, I think this is reportedly one of the things that Elise was annoyed about, that they weren't prioritizing a deal for him. That is believed to be one of the things that Elise was irritated about. And I can understand it. Chelsea are just sort of in conversations with so many people. And as I said, it just goes to show that I think the club just appear to be a bit confused as to what their strategy is. It doesn't. Things aren't necessarily adding up. What they're saying and what they're doing are not meeting in the middle whatsoever. So yeah, this is one that I don't understand about at all. I'm really confused by it. This is a good source, The Guardian, Ed Aarons. What I'm sort of reading into Chelsea at the moment in this transfer window is we seem to be opportunistic, like with Giui, but then there seems to be a massive scattergun approach. Let's look back at this, right? So, it comes out, at least a month or so ago, that actually we don't want to spend the big money on Osimhen. Then the next thing is we want a big man profile to be a backup to Jackson. So then we see the links with Omorodion and Duran. Then we get links to Jonathan David, who's a completely different profile to what had been briefed previously with Omorodion and Duran. And then now Chelsea are not believed. Then they get reports saying that Chelsea aren't believed to want a striker to replace Nicholas Jackson. Yet we've inquired about Isak, who would absolutely relegate Nicholas Jackson to the bench. So what is it? What is it right now? You know, what is the strategy? What's the plan here? Because there's very mixed messages coming out, very conflicting messages coming out as to what the message is here. Jonathan David links don't add up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really add up. You know, what's being briefed is very different to sort of what the club. What the club reportedly want to do. I'm just confused about it. I mean, there's always a chance that, you know, maybe we're confident that Isak wouldn't want a huge wage. And at the end of the day, transfer fees don't seem to bother us that much because we're more than happy to amortize a big fee over a number of years. But yeah, the links and the briefings and whatnot are just so inconsistent right now. We're so inconsistent. You know, we're told one thing and it completely changes. Omorodion, Duran, then we don't want to pay for Osimhen, and we're happy to pay for Isak. Jonathan David links, all different profiles of strikers. It's all very confusing. All very, very confusing. Not something that I'm struggling to get my head around here. Newcastle United owners are friends with Burnley. I think Isak could be done if pushed by Chelsea. Look, Isak could be done, but it wouldn't be about the money necessarily, because I think Chelsea, if needs be, could put that money on the table. I think the main thing for Chelsea is Isak open to the move? That's always the big thing. Is the player keen on the move? Is the player open to joining the club? Because I think at the end of the day, the finances, you can make an agreement on that. You know, you can work those things out. But the most important thing would be to ascertain whether Isak is actually open to a move. I suspect he's not open to a move because he seems quite happy. He seems quite settled. But I guess you just never know what's going through a player's mind and what what possibilities, you know, might come on the table for them. And this for Isak, you know, he's more than good enough to play for a Champions League club. I know we aren't a Champions League club right now, but he is absolutely more than good enough to play for a Champions League team. There's absolutely no denying that whatsoever. I think they either go in for potential or star. That's why Isak links make sense. Fair enough. There's so much coming in. With Osimhen's price tag a lot cheaper and reasonable now, I think we should look back into him. Osimhen's price tag is not cheaper. There was one report suggesting that Napoli might lower their price tag, but again, not really been backed up by anything more reliable. Isak is their star player. Can't sell them, especially as they are building something. Well, look, everyone's got their price, you know, regardless of how important a player is. You know, if the money's right, every team has got their price. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever on that front. I think Chelsea want 2 first starters, 1 for Prem matches, 1 for the Cups. We need 2. Well, it's not as simple as paying up. The player's got to want the move. The player has to want the move at the end of the day. You know, it's all very well saying, "Oh, just pay up," but that's only one part of it. The most important thing is convincing the player that the move is right, or if the player wants the move. No, obviously not. Obviously, that's not going to happen. No swap deals are going to happen. You know, absolutely no swap deals are going to happen. Jonathan David issue is mediocre physically. 5'9" will get bullied in the Prem. Can't run. That's a big problem for me. And why I don't believe the links, but you never know. Let's wait and see. But yeah, there's just a wild levels of inconsistencies right now, which are not making an awful lot of sense, and which quite simply are not adding up, guys. They simply aren't adding up at all. But this is one to keep an eye on, I reckon. It's definitely one to keep an eye on over the window. It really is, you know. This could be it now. Chelsea have inquired. They found out it's going to take a club record, like a British transfer record, to do it. That might be the end of it. They might not be prepared to do that, and so that's the end of it there. Or Chelsea could be prepared to do it, and they're plotting their potential next move. I suspect this was an opportunistic inquiry to see if there's possibly a deal to be done. They found out the price, and for me personally, I don't see Chelsea being able to pay that price. I don't see it. I just don't see it. That's my honest opinion. But of course, you know, they didn't. Do you know what's interesting here, right? When you read into the way that this is reported, right? You know, we reached out to Newcastle to inquire. They didn't say no. And look, this might be clutching slightly, but they didn't say no. Their response was, it will take a high fee. So they didn't say no, by the way. I think this is an important thing here, guys, that we need to realize and we need to look into. They didn't say no. Their response was, it will take a high price. But you know, at this point, it's of course it's unlikely, but it's not as possible. And as I've been saying, Chelsea don't seem to care as much about transfer fees as they do about wages. So I think this is not impossible. Unlikely, but absolutely not impossible. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It is not impossible, guys. So we're gonna wait and see on that front. We're absolutely going to wait and see on that front. So that's kind of the latest on Alexander Isak, guys. There's definitely one to watch here. A deal, whilst unlikely, isn't impossible. Can't be fully ruled out. It's still very early in the window. Obviously, Isak is not at an international tournament this summer. Guys, 158 in the building. Keep smashing that like button, people. Keep smashing the like button with 65 likes. Let's get this up to 100 likes, guys. Should be light work. Loads of you in here, as always, which is great. So please smash the like button. It's free. It takes seconds. Let's get this to 100 likes, guys. That should be light work. So please keep hitting that like button. And please keep subscribing to the channel as well if you're new around here. 10 subscribers away from 10,250. Let's get to that. Let's try and get those 10 subscribers to the 10,250. That would be greatly appreciated, guys. So if you're not subscribed right now, hit the subscribe button. Join the channel, become part of the community, join the journey. It's the place to be. Daily streams, locked in with all your Chelsea news, guests, the lot. Please do subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And keep running the likes up. Still in the window. Remember, Newcastle asked about Noni. I don't think so. I honestly don't see Chelsea selling Noni Madueke, especially after we missed out on Michael Elise. Isak for 120 mil. Noni sold to them for 65, and we feel Noni spot with Hutchinson. It's not going to happen. Is my thoughts. I agree. I don't think it will happen, but I'm just saying if we offload Lukaku alone with Sarr, we can do it. We can definitely do it. Are we prepared to do it? Still only when they remember Newcastle. Oh, we've done that. Charlie, do you want England? Did you watch England game? Yeah, I did. It was crap. Newcastle owners are quite close to clear out, so they will be willing to do business. I think everyone's willing to do business at the right price. Yes, big up, brother. Yeah, no, bro, it's warm today. It is warm, humid settings in the UK. Yeah, not. It's not the one. I'll be real. It absolutely isn't the one. But yeah, what do you think of Cole Palmer minutes? I thought it was brilliant when he came on, made a difference. Injected some much needed urgency. Looks a threat. Has to start on Sunday. Simple as that. But yeah, so this is the latest on that. That is the latest there. Right, let's move away from this Alexander Isak news, but it's one to keep an eye on, and it's certainly exciting. But it's important not to get carried away because this could have happened weeks ago, and it's just coming out now. Who knows really? But we don't know whether it's going to if it's a smoke screen or what it is at this point in time, guys. We're not really sure right now what this might be. But yeah, let's move away from that. And interestingly, as I was talking about Samu Omorodion, there's reports from Spanish outlet Marca, and these rumours on Omorodion still aren't going away. Chelsea are going very hard for Samu. Atletico Madrid is not selling at the moment. There will be a soap opera. I mean, these translations aren't great. More in Marca. These aren't going away. Let me just obviously translate this to English. Surprisingly, I'm not fluent in Spanish. So apparently, Omorodion obviously joined last summer from Granada at a €6 million release clause, and he's subject to interest from Premier League clubs. West Ham have already made an approach for the forward that was rejected by Atletico as insufficient. Chelsea got the same response when they raised the offer to €40 million to take the 20-year-old who only has one season's experience at Alaves. Despite this, he ended up being the forward under 20 with the best numbers in Europe's major leagues. That and his progression, thanks to his great physical qualities, mean that Atletico Madrid rejected the proposal and they're counting on him. But everything can change if Chelsea continue to increase the offer. If one arrives off the market, the Red and Whites will logistically study it and be able to accept what would be a huge investment, going from €6 million to about 10 times that in less than a year. Meanwhile, the footballer remains in suspense about his future. He would like to try and succeed at Atletico under Simeone, but he knows the interest that the Premier League brings and that it would not only fill the pockets of Atletico, but also a player who, let's not forget, is taking his first steps in the game. In terms of Atletico's departure, would help finance the signings in progress. Let's not forget that all of them could be closer if Chelsea insists on Samu and Atletico ends up accepting an offer. This is something's not adding up here. Something's not adding up with this Omorodion stuff, because reportedly we've made 3 offers for him. Then the interest had slightly was believed to have cooled a bit, and now we're finding ourselves in a situation where apparently we're still pushing for the deal. We haven't had many updates on Omorodion from kind of your main sources. This is obviously Spanish media. Marca is obviously a big outlet. No doubt about it. Marca is a huge outlet. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? It is an interesting one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the plan is. But I'm unsure, guys. I don't know what the plan is here. Are we gonna push for it? I don't know. Let's wait and see. I'm really unsure right here. If you haven't seen this fellow, just chill. Guys that follow the league, rate him highly. Look. At the end of the day, I'm not going to criticise the lad. I've not watched any of him play. He's obviously highly thought of. I just think the money being involved are just not worth it for a player of his quality right now. That's my only thing. Look, I think there's no doubt about it. His physical qualities, his physical profile, he's got those qualities to succeed in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. Is Mudryk not in the squad today? I mean, if that's the case, that's the first I've seen of it. I actually don't know if that's true or not. Let me see if I can quickly find out. But this Samu stuff is, I don't understand. Mudryk's on the bench today. I think it's just rotation because I think Ukraine have pretty much qualified for the final game. He's on the bench accordingly. Yeah, he's on the bench according to the graphics. And then some are saying he's not in the squad. And then some are saying he's on on the bench? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he's on the bench. Anyway, not that that matters. Let's. Yeah, this geezer Samu, it's just not going away, and I don't know why it's not going away. Maybe it's maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like one of them. It's not too much to read into, but there must be a reason why these rumors are still persisting. If it was a flat out no, then surely these things wouldn't still be being reported. I don't know. Uh, I don't know. But look, would I be against the signing? I would say wouldn't be against it per se, but it doesn't really, in my view, it doesn't really make an awful lot of sense. You know, if you've already gone with a young striker in Giui, why would you then add another one of a similar age? That's what. Yeah, sure. But you know, you've got to get a good deal, and you've got to get value for money at the end of the day. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It is an interesting one. Every country has 3 points in the group. What, Ukraine won and lost, Belgium have won and lost, and then Romania have also won and maybe. I don't know why he's on the bench. There's obviously a reason for it. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he's got a slight knock or something. I don't know, because he's definitely been Ukraine's most dangerous attacker in the opening 2 games. So yeah, that would come across as a bit of a weird one for me. Definitely comes across as a bit of a weird one. So let's see on that. But yeah, Omorodion, again, I think this is another one to keep your on, guys. I honestly don't believe that this one has been fully shut down like Skepta. So, it's... I reckon there could still be something here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I reckon, you know, Chelsea do still hold an interest in him. No doubting that in my mind. Guys, 150 in the building still. Still only 77 likes. Come on, people. Let's get this up to 100 likes. Should be light work. There's definitely 30 people in here that haven't liked the stream. So please do that, guys. It really helps me out more than you can imagine. So please do that. And please keep subscribing to the channel as well. That would be greatly appreciated as well. We're heading towards 10.3K. So please do subscribe, guys. That would be really appreciated. But yeah, we're gonna wait and see what happens with wait and see what happens with that one. Well, there's one graphic that's showing him as on the bench, and then other people are saying he's not in the squad. Well, whatever the situation is, he's not starting the game. So yeah, there we go. There must be an issue in that regard. Fair enough. Not in the squad. Anyway, let's move away from Omorodion, and we are going to talk about very briefly Marc Guiu, because that deal is pretty much done. David Ornstein confirming news again. Fabrizio Romano giving the here we go. Ornstein adding that Chelsea reached agreement in principle with Marc Guiu to sign 18-year-old striker from Barcelona on a contract until 2030. Going to activate the €6 million release clause in his contract, and then terms in his existing Barcelona terms, and then they're going to schedule a medical in London. This, for me, I look at this as more of a replacement for Broja within the squad, I would say. That's how I'd see it. I can understand the move. I think, obviously, Broja's got to move on. and the club are looking at a replacement for him. I don't know how good he is because I've barely seen anything of him. But of course, we've got Nicholas Jackson, and then we've signed players like Dacia Fofana, Washington. Even look at players like Dujon Richards, Jimmy J. Morgan, strikers in the academy and whatnot. There's reports saying he's going to be around the first team, which I'm absolutely not against. But, it certainly waves a red flag for the likes of Dacia Fofana, likes of Washington, that they are very unlikely to be around the first team this season. They'll either be sold or moved or sent out on loan in an attempt to try and increase their transfer value. That's how I would potentially be seeing it. But yeah, look, I don't hate this Giui move. I really don't. I actually don't think it's that bad a move at all. It's opportunistic. There's talent there. He'll be assessed in pre-season, and then we're going to move, and then we'll move on from we'll move on from there. The expectation is that he's basically they see it as excellent value at the end of the day. Ben Jacobs adding, worth noting, Chelsea view Giui as a first-team signing. Clause seen as strong value, and the 18-year-old is expected to be part of Maresca's squad rather than brought in with Strasbourg or an immediate loan in mind. I think that could change if he doesn't do much in pre-season for sure. Don't use the I in Giu. So is it Marc Guiu? Is it just literally, is it Marc Guiu then? There's silent I, is it? Or am I just being had on here? Marc Guiu then, is it? Giu? Fuck knows. Let's wait and see. But I honestly don't know the full answer to the pronunciation on that one. But anyway, yeah. Look, good luck to the kid. Guiu, Marc Guiu. Okay, it's Marc Guiu then. Fair enough. Marc Guiu. There we go. Yep, the kid is a striker, 18 years of age. Has made 7 first-team appearances for Barcelona. He scored 2 goals and come through the academy at La Masia. Decent, he's thought to have a lot of talent. But again, there's still so much development to be done at that age. I really don't see, I don't know how good this kid's going to be. I don't know how much of an opportunity he's going to get here. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. It's absolutely going to be an interesting one. I don't fully know what the plan, how Chelsea view him, what they view as the plan. But it could be exciting, guys. It could well be exciting. And like with everyone, as soon as they sign for the club and they join the team, I will be fully behind every player. But yeah, I can't lie and sit here and say that, oh my God, I'm absolutely delighted with this signing. I can't wait to see him in action, sort of thing. He's going to make a big difference. This is just an opportunity in the market, and it could turn out to be smart business, because at the end of the day, if he does well, we've picked up a player for a ridiculously cheap price. And if he doesn't do well, then we find ourselves in a position where we are obviously going to make a profit on someone who we literally spent 5 million quid on. So it's almost, from that perspective, it's also it's win-win, isn't it? It's win-win at the end of the day for us on that one. In my honest opinion, guys, I would say it's win-win on Giu. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be a third summer signing. So we're going to add what? We're going to have had Tosin Adarabioyo on a free, Amari Kellyman for 19 million, which is expected to be announced this week. And then it looks like Giui, or what's the pronunciation in the chat? Giu is going to be the third summer signing, and then we could potentially be looking at, I don't know who could be next after that. Hopefully a big name. That would be nice. Maybe a Jonathan David. I'm not sure whether Chelsea would look to do that or not. We'd have to wait and see on that front. But yeah, I think there's an excitement to be had. Absolutely an excitement to be had. Hope Giu turns out good from the rest of the system. I do as well. Think he could play a part in the Conference League. Raheem, trade, please, or sale. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't see that happening. You know, it's gone very quiet on the Raheem Sterling front in terms of in terms of him leaving and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be on any. I don't think there's going to be anything like that. But yeah, Giu, opportunity in the market. Let's see how the kid does. Right, we're going to move on from Giu, and we're going to be talking about a report from The Athletic, which kind of contradicts what we've been saying. What's kind of been coming out at Chelsea. There is no strict wage policy in place at Chelsea. Cases will be judged on an individual basis. It is not as if they've ruled out the possibility of ever offering a player the kind of salary Bayern did to Elise ever again, but the numbers achieved would have to justify it more than what Elise or Nico Williams have managed in their careers. So, according to Simon Johnson in The Athletic, what Chelsea are saying here is, what he's saying here is, according to his information, and he's obviously well connected at the club, is that Chelsea would be prepared to pay big wages, but the player would need to be worth it. So maybe they've looked at Elise and looked at the likes of Nico Williams and think these guys haven't achieved enough in their careers to date to warrant the big money. But then would they be willing to make an exception for Alexander Isak on those potentially high wages? I don't know. Obviously, we know that Sterling's on over 300k. Look, I think Elise is a great player. Is he worth the 220k that Bayern Munich are reportedly going to give him? No, I would say he probably isn't. But I think we have to be. I think we have to be fair here. If this is the case, by the way, we don't know if this is the case or not, and the proof will be in the pudding. The evidence will be there if we do go for a big signing and if we do offer that kind of money. The evidence will absolutely be there, and I think we can obviously. Maybe we will. Maybe I don't want to read too much into this because I don't believe that. I don't believe that that is the case. I think Chelsea have proven that they very much want targets to buy into this wage structure that they've got going on at the club right now. So yeah, I personally not sure how much I believe that. And the proof will be there when we go and try and sign a big player. Then we'll really find out whether the wage structure is there. I think the wage structure will loosely be there, but we'll find out whether the club are actually prepared to break that for certain individuals. That would obviously make a massive, massive difference to the team. Let's wait and see on that front. Let's wait and see on that front. But yeah, let's move away. Sterling, what are people saying in the chat? Isak would be a great signing if Chelsea didn't have the wage restrictions. Well, look, if Chelsea are going if Chelsea were going to pursue a move for Isak or thinking about a move for Isak, then they're obviously confident that the wages would fall within their budget, within the structure, or it's an indication that there would be a willingness to move away from that structure for certain players. I'd like to believe that that would be the latter, but it's difficult to know, really. It's difficult to know. It really is. So we are going to wait and see on that one. Sterling and cash for Isak. I mean, look, people talk about this sort of thing, but if anything, Newcastle would obviously want a striker to replace Sterling. Sorry, to replace Isak if he left. I don't think they'd be wanting a winger necessarily. But yeah, let's wait and see if this is true or not. We'll find out if we go for a big player and when the wages are released. Right. Talking of big players, we're going to move on to Romelu Lukaku. There's a bit of news here. Antonio Conte has been speaking about him. But let's start with the news from Damasio in Italy that AC Milan have made contact with Chelsea over Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, we're desperately trying to get rid of him this summer. He's still got 2 years left on his contract, which just seems mad. The move's been an absolute disaster, and we just need to get rid of the guy. We just need to get rid of the guy. It's as simple as that. Guys, 7 likes away from 100. Keep smashing that like button. It's free. It really helps me out, so please do that. We are almost at 100 likes. 7 more likes to go, guys. Smash the thumbs up button and keep subscribing, people, to the channel if you're new around here. It would be greatly appreciated. But let's get this to 100 likes. Someone let me know when we've hit the 100 likes mark. Should be light work. 6 more to go, people. What is this article saying? Just need to bring this up. Look, you could have all out to go into AC Milan, but AC Milan got £38 million to spend on him. The Belgian is back in fashion. The Rossoneri are planning a meeting with his entourage to understand the feasibility of a deal. Milan have yet to find a replacement for Olivier Giroud, and they're active in evaluating various profiles in the market. The name being explored most is Joshua Zirkzee, but at the moment, the conditions of Kia Jarabshian's, the Dutchman's agents, are slowing down the operation. This is why other names have also been taken into consideration. And above all, an old thing is back in fashion, Romelu Lukaku, who will return to being a Chelsea player after the end of his loan at Roma. The most recent news in these hours is the new contacts between the two clubs, Milan and Chelsea. The Rossoneri are starting from the hypothesis of a loan. Yep, of course they are. Of course they are. We don't want a loan. We want the full exit clause, people. But the English are asking for a high sum. However, Milan is also scheduled to summit with the players' entourage. The aim is to understand the feasibility of a possible operation. In short, Milan continues to work on a new number 9. The contacts with Chelsea are proof of how the management did not stop at Xerxes' name and is working simultaneously on multiple tables to then reach a conclusion with one or more of the profiles evaluated. Lukaku is also on Napoli's list, and there have been recent contacts with Antonio Conte, but the Azzurri are currently blocked by Victor Osimhen's situation. Honestly, Chelsea, in my opinion, cannot be doing another loan move. Cannot be doing another loan move. That's the reality for me. They can't be doing it. It's as simple as that. We simply have to get this guy off the books this summer. There's no other way of saying this. We must get Lukaku off the books this summer. Pure and simple, people. He has to be off the books this summer. £38 million exit clause, I think, is good value for money. There's interest from 3 clubs in Saudi Arabia. Napoli are obviously interested as well. Someone is going to pay that exit clause, and then we can just put this nightmare behind us. We can't have a situation where we are still paying a high percentage of Lukaku's wages next season. We have to get him off the books. It's interesting as well to see what Antonio Conte has been saying about the player. Conte has been making some comments as Napoli manager. Let me just quickly bring these up now, where he's been speaking about him. But I think what's interesting here is that obviously this is purely dependent on Osimhen. Antonio Conte and Romelu Lukaku is top target for Napoli. He's an excellent player, top player. There's nothing else to say. You always hope to have a player like Romelu on your side and not against you. So obviously we know that Conte would love to have Lukaku at Napoli. But the reality of the situation is that it appears that it is very much dependent on whether Victor Osimhen makes the move in the opposite, makes the move away. Sorry, not in the opposite direction, but makes the move away. That's the reality that we're doing with so far. Conte, aka Lukaku's daddy, yeah, basically is, and I think Lukaku probably is holding out for that. I believe he is holding out for that Napoli move, but at the same time, guys, I can't see Osimhen leaving. at the end of the day. That's the big thing for me. I don't see Victor Osimhen leaving at this point in time. Maybe he will stay. Of course, there's an agreement between Osimhen and Napoli that he can leave the club. But right now, no one's coming for Osimhen. It's all gone very quiet surrounding his future. There's been nothing at all on it, which is interesting. It is interesting that there's literally been nothing on his future whatsoever. Nothing on his future at all. So yeah, we are gonna have to wait and see on that front. We absolutely are. I suspect that, my honest opinion, I think Lukaku is going to end up in Saudi Arabia. But I don't really care where he ends up. We just have to get this. We have to get the money for him. We have to get him off the books, and then we can just forget about the whole thing. But it is looking like it's Serie A or it's the Saudi Pro League. Simple as that. It's Serie A or it's the Pro League. It's Saudi. There's nowhere else right now. Absolutely, there's nowhere else right now. It's Serie A or it's the Pro League. So we're gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait and see what. We're gonna wait and see what happens. We're gonna wait and see how long this moves on for. But yeah, we need a resolution for this summer. Simple as that. Simple as that. We need a resolution this summer, and let's just move on from it. I think Napoli will have to lower the price for Osimhen. Notice how the interest in Ivan Toney has gone quiet too. I mean, look, Napoli's haven't set an asking price. There's the release clause, but maybe Napoli will have to accept that, yeah, the release clause is going to need to be a little bit less. Maybe that's the reality. I don't think Newcastle have said that. There was one report in the Northern Echo saying that it could take Chelsea breaking through the £200 million barrier to get Isak. But I don't really know how true that is necessarily. I don't know necessarily how true that is, but we will see on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, needs to go. Absolutely needs to go. No two ways about it. And hopefully it will happen this summer. Chelsea really can't be entertaining a loan, guys. We really cannot be entertaining a loan move at all for the player. It simply cannot happen. When the players start, I would imagine early next month. I would have thought the ones that haven't been involved in international tournaments, I would maybe expect that. Right, let's move away from that and let's move on to Enzo Fernandez, because Enzo Fernandez has been talking about the Olympics. Interesting comments here. I did everything possible to be in the Olympics. Pochettino had given me the okay. There was a change of coach and the club changed its position. I did everything possible to be there. I apologise to Mascherano, the coach. I wanted to be there. I hope it happens another time. So here we have a situation where Pochettino had given the green light for Enzo to go to the Olympics, which I think is crazy, absolutely crazy. But Pochettino had obviously given him permission to go. I don't think this is a. Obviously, he's disappointed. I don't think there's any issue between Enzo and the club. I think it's slightly poor from Chelsea that if there was an agreement, if the club had given him the go-ahead to go, I'm not saying they had, but Pochettino had given him the okay, whether the club had or not. But if the club had given him the okay, and then they've changed their minds due to a change of manager, then I think that's poor taste. If I'm being totally honest, I think that's poor taste. If that has happened, that's not something that I would be happy with as a player. If the situation has been reneged on. I wouldn't be pleased about that. In fact, I would be positively fuming if that had happened. I'm not saying it has happened, but this is Chelsea, and treatment of players is something that has been questioned previously. So it's something for me that that can't be ruled out, guys. That legitimately can't be ruled out. So I'm not saying it did happen, but there's a chance, people. There is a possibility that this maybe could have happened. But Enzo's obviously annoyed. He's at the Copa America right now. He wants to play. But I fully understand Chelsea's stance and Chelsea's position. We've got a big pre-season coming up. It's a new manager. We need him there. We need him to be there. So as annoying as it might be, as frustrating as it might be, we need him to be there for us, because unfortunately Chelsea is more important than the Olympics. That's the reality. That is the reality of the situation right now. And as much as he might not like it, as much as he might be disappointed and upset, I'm sure he understands. And this is a huge season for Enzo next season. It's absolutely massive. He could well be playing a key role for Chelsea, and we need him to be there for the full pre-season, to take part in the full preparations for the season ahead, so he can get used to working under Maresca, get used to the system, get minutes under his belt in Maresca's system. Guys, 107 in the building, 101 likes. Keep smashing that like button, guys. It's free. It takes seconds to do, and it would massively help me out. I would really appreciate it. So please hit that like button, guys. Let's get this to 110 likes. Smash the thumbs up button. It's free. Helps boost the content in the algorithm. So yeah, people, please do that. I would be greatly appreciative. He's come back from injury. He's played 3 or 4 games now, a few warm-up games. Obviously appeared at the Copa America as well. So yeah, look, let's see on that. But yeah, obviously he's frustrated. There was clearly an agreement there. Pochettino was happy to let him go. I think someone in the chat said it. Poch would have always let him go because they're both Argentinian. Yeah, that could well be the case. I'm not denying that. Not denying that at all. I think there's every chance that could have been the case. But yeah, that's just a little bit of information on the Enzo Fernandez situation with the Olympics. I don't believe that there's any issues between him and the club whatsoever on that front. Yes, of course, a natural disappointment, but I'm sure he fully understands why that was the case. I'm sure he does. And if he doesn't, then yeah, maybe that's a bit of a problem on his behalf. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. We can't have everything. It's not a FIFA. It's not a UEFA affiliated tournament. So it's not a FIFA affiliated tournament. Sorry. So it's discretion's down to the clubs. And we've exercised our right for him not to go, and rightfully so, in my opinion. Rightfully so. I fully agree that is the right thing for us. Right thing for us to do, guys. Absolutely, the right thing for us to do. Anyone got any questions in the chat about anything? Poch would have always. I have done that. It's big up, brother. Isak would be a good signing for Chelsea and would make sense. He would be a perfect competitor and mentor for Jackson. Yeah, of course he would. But the reality is, I don't see it happening. I don't see how it can happen realistically. Yeah, it's going to take a massive fee at the end of the day. It's going to take a big fee, and I don't think we've necessarily got it in us. I don't necessarily think we've got it in us to pay that money. But stranger things have happened. Never say never, guys. Never say never. Because there's a possibility. There's a possibility this could happen. But yeah, I'm not getting carried away or anything like that. I'm fully aware of the situation. It wasn't a no. It's going to take a big fee to do it. Chelsea have shown they're prepared to pay big fees and they're happy to amortize them. So yeah, we're going to wait and see. But I think we'll have to find out. We need to get the players buy-in, but unlikely, not impossible. But yeah, highly unlikely, not impossible. And I'm not expecting Isak to join Chelsea. But I would love to be wrong. Look, Jonathan David is a player that Chelsea like. At the end of the day, I still don't see a move happening for him necessarily. There's interest there, but I think Chelsea are perhaps maybe looking at other targets. I think if Chelsea really wanted David, they would have pressed ahead and kind of, you know, got a deal done potentially. I think that's what we're looking at here. I think they would have pressed ahead and got a deal done. But that's just my view. I'm not saying David won't happen. David is obviously far easier to do than Isak. And I think Jonathan David would be a decent signing for Chelsea. So, yeah, but, you know, there are a host of clubs interested in him. And if we really want him, we are going to have to get a move on. Otherwise, we will get left behind by other clubs. So, yeah, there we go. There we go on that front. And guys, I think that we're going to round this one out here. Unless anyone's got any questions in the chat about anything they want answered briefly, then I will round this one out here. Any questions in the chat, whack them in there. I'd 100% take Isak for 100 mil plus. Is a lot of money. Can we afford to spend that? I think we can afford to spend that. We've amortized. We've got player sales to make. Where there's a will, there's a way. So yeah, let's see on that front. Let's absolutely see on that front, and yeah, let's see what is possible. Let's see what is possible. Isak always scores against Chelsea. Yeah, no, he does. To be fair, he does score against us. What do I make of the Chalobah situation? Well, nothing's really changed. I would love to keep him at the football club. Big fan of his. But yeah, ultimately, I think Chelsea want to sell him. But the ball's in his court. He's got years left on his contract, and he doesn't have to go anywhere. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens with that one, and we should get more updates. You know, once we get into July, I expect there to be a lot more stuff to pick up. Do I remember Islam Farouz? No. What do you think of the new Chelsea home kit? I mean, look, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it, but at the end of the day, I probably look completely different in person and on. But yeah, I don't know when we're going to get any official announcements in regards to the kits. It seems to be, yeah, that's going to be another delayed process. No doubt about it in my mind. It's going to be another delayed process on that front with the kits. But yeah, one last check if anything has come out. I don't think there is going to be any news on anything. No, there does not appear to be. So, guys, I am going to round this one out here. Big thanks to everyone that's tuned in. As always, make sure on the way out you smash that like button, guys. Let's get this over 110 likes. We're on 107. 3 more likes required. So please smash that like button. Get this up to 110 likes and beyond. Please also subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Become part of the journey. Don't know where it's going, but we're heading towards 10.3K. So become part of the journey, become part of the community, guys. It would be great to have you on board. The place to be, daily streams covering all the Chelsea news, guests and all that stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Please hit the thumbs up button as well on your way out. Let's see what tomorrow's got in store for us, guys. You know, an inquiry for Isak today. Let's see what Chelsea have in store for us tomorrow. I'm sure there's bound to be some sort of major news, as there always is with the football club. But yeah, big love to everyone as always, guys. I appreciate all of your support. You lot know that. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at some point. I'll be back tomorrow with another live show. So let's see what the day's got in store for us. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the Euros if you're watching. Enjoy the weather if it's nice where you are. Smash the like, subscribe, up the Chelsea, and peace out.